David Price is a pussy. I say that first class, straight to the camera. You know, he doesn't deserve a fight with Tyson Fury. What's he done? Knocked out a 50-year-old man and another guy never had a heart. He's like the Wizard of Oz, man, isn't he? He needed to go get a heart from the king.
To be honest, Harrison's the biggest bum inside boxing. And your reaction to David Price and Frank Murray calling me on midget, yeah? I'll fight David Price any day of the week. You see, you come from Liverpool. It's personal between me. I'm going to do you some serious and you big stiff in you. Okay, all right. Also, you're going to need 10 plumbers to do you when I've got finished with you. Also, you are getting in, for sure. Call me out, call me your names, and you are getting in.
What we're going to do is, you know how it works. We're going to wait for more people to get here. And then we are going to jump right into things. So, you know, we're not going to wait. It's not going to be like it's a late night stream. We are going to jump right into things like within the next 10 minutes, and not even that. You know, so let's watch this Tyson Fury, you know, hilarious Tyson Fury interviews is what it's called. And we're going to go from there. Please subscribe.
David Price is a pussy. I say that first class, straight to the camera. You know, he doesn't deserve a fight with Tyson Fury. What's he done? Knocked out a 50-year-old man and another guy never had a heart. He's like the Wizard of Oz, man, isn't he? He needed to go get a heart from the king.
To be honest, Harrison's the biggest bum inside boxing. Your reaction to David Price and Frank Murray calling me on midget, yeah? I'll fight David Price any day of the week. You see, you come from Liverpool. It's personal between me. I'm going to do you some serious and you big stiff in you. Okay, all right. Also, you're going to need 10 plumbers to do you when I've got finished with you. Also, you are getting in, for sure. Call me out, call me your names, and you are getting in. And you know you came up for Tony Bellew. I'll fight him in there.
He's talking about men. I'm not going to materially bring steps to the other man. We're going to stay to this man. Come on, take your shirt off. You're on flat pudding. Why you got sunglasses on?
This is the first time.
You're mistaken. It's winter time. This is Christmas. You're a bull. You're a bull. Right, you turned 2003. It's going to be 25 years in a tiger shop. Come on, where you been? Where you at? I'm right here, right next to you. I'm the better man, you'll let them know I'm here. Let me tell you something, yeah? I'm 10 times the man you will ever know how to be, Mr. Sunglasses. Listen, there's more heart in this little finger than there is in the whole of the US. I'm ready for you, boy. I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you, boy. I'm not ready for you, boy. You better get out of the place. Get out there. I'm telling you, Mr. Sunglasses. Listen, I say don't feel that. Maybe say, I will maybe seal your ass. I'm trying to get smashed. You understand me? You understand me? When I look at man, I like to look into his eyes. So I can see his soul. You ain't have no soul, bro. You're not right on the right. You're not right. You're not right. I'm telling you, it's not right. I smell you this morning. Smell that thing. I smell you. I can smell you, bro. I'm telling you. I smell you. I see right through you. Look at this. And everybody, when you're involved in take a look at this. I got you. Look at the children or something. Okay. Mr. Chubby Jacker. Okay. Bigger they are, the harder they fall. Listen, that's only what people say. Listen, I can guarantee you, even that harder they punch, the better than they are. And on this night, I'm the best ever in the world, and I'll prove that against anybody. This dude's an idiot, yeah? He's going to get smashed against. I'm Vladimir Klitschko. I want you next.
I'm going to win Saturday night because I'm unbeatable. Tyson Fury is going to be the best heavyweight of all times. Because I have been in some serious training camp.
Listen, there's only one Tyson Fury. What you got to say about that, John J? What you got to say about that?
Hold on a second. Let's keep this civil here. Would you like to fight?
We all know Fury, he's just a phony, man. This is just for acting. You know where I am, you know what time, you know what place. I ain't scared of nobody. I'll come to your backyard, baby, for that, my man. I promise you that. Anytime when you up in the ring with a real fighter, when you in the water fighter, that's what it's all about, man.
No bother. Listen, anytime when he plays anywhere, I'll fight you in your back garden. Like a dumb Klitschko. I'll beat you, you bum. You're a bum.
you know, it's a shame because, well, let's listen to the rest of this.
Well, that might not have been a good idea.
You know, it's all. We already know this is just an act, baby. You're not a real fighter. This is an act. I don't play this. I don't play this. As you can see, baby, I don't play this, man. This is just an act that you're doing. You should be an actor. But when we do step in this ring, this ain't wrestling. This ain't the WWE, baby. When you do step in this ring with me, if you do, because this could have been done a long time ago. You can run around like you a preacher and all that you want, but baby, I promise you, when you step in the ring, I will baptize you.
You know, it's sad. For those who are here last night, we talked about it. I alluded to it in the past, is that the way it was being worded by Peter Fury and the way just the whole situation went down, you know, or was going down, I said, oh, he on something. You know, he's on something. And now it's been confirmed that, you know, he's been dealing with that gutter glitter. You know, those devil sprinkles, those sweet nose clamps. And over there in the UK, from what I've learned, cocaine is a big issue. Well, cocaine is a big issue everywhere. But I'm talking about there's really like no real taboo over in the UK, you know, about coke. So basically, you can tell he's been doing it for a while. And now you can start to put like things together on, okay, well, now we see why he was avoiding the drug test. And here's another key fact. They haven't, okay, from my understanding, right, he tested positive for cocaine. But then we don't know the results of the PED test. We don't know the result of the PED test. So with him ducking and dodging, you know, the drug testing, you have to think, well, he's been on coke for a while, you know? He probably started doing coke shortly after, you know, he fought Klitschko. And remember, the guy's only 27, you know, he has been, you know, talked about having mental illness. I went into detail with that last night. And you have to think that all that shit went to his head. You see, so he got his titles. You know, he was on Ring Magazine cover, the Ring Magazine WBA, WBO, IBF champion before he got stripped of the IBF. You know, and then he started partying. For example, when he came over here to the Wilder versus Spielka fight, dude was everywhere. You know, and it's good for boxing. You know, it's good that he's one of those boxers that can interact and mingle with the fans. But dude was a maniac over there, you know, up in New York. You know, they had to kick him out of Barclays because he tried to attack Pearl Froch. You know, and he was just raising hell. You know, just literally like raising hell. He had a good time, but it's just like certain things that you've seen, or more so with his behavior, you notice like after he's always been an outspoken, charismatic fighter, right? He's always been that. But it wasn't until he won that title where he just started getting crazier. Now, I agree. The Batman thing was funny. It was funny. You know, it was enjoyable. People are saying, oh, yeah, he was on coke. That's why he did that. You know, I'm not saying. I'm just saying he's just being an enjoyable, you know, fighter. But now, you know, it's looking bad because I posted earlier that winter is coming. You know, that white winter. And what's going to happen is, if it hasn't happened already, it's starting. It's starting. But you have some people home right now, or on their phones, or maybe in class or at work, can't wait to get back to their computers, and he's gonna get the oats memed out of him. He's gonna be memed to death. You know, in this day and age, this social media age, remember what they did to Pearl John Bones Jones? you know, social media is not kind. And social media or the internet in period is not sympathetic. You know, then Christmas coming up, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody make a meme of him as Santa Claus with all this, you know, powder and all this shit. This shit was clear as day that he was on something. It was clear as day. It was clear as day. And then once I was watching the Peter Fury interviews, the way he was wording the shit, well, you know, it's about, you know, he has an illness. But they wasn't saying, you know, like, it was clear as day. It was clear as day, in my opinion. It was clear as day. I had people slaughtering me saying, how dare you say he's on cocaine and all this. I didn't say he was. I said he was, you know, I'm talking about now I'm saying he is. But I was saying, yo, you know, dude is probably, he most likely on that cocaine, on the yeho, on that yeho. Yeah. But the issue is, maybe he was trying to quit himself, but maybe it got to the point where the guy's, you know, a millionaire, you know, and you know, if you have $1 million in the bank, you're considered to be a millionaire. So, you know, he was getting that good shit, that narcos. You know, he was getting that good shit. So you got to think all the partying and everything he's doing. Peter Fury was saying, you know, hinting us like, yo, he wasn't, when it came to training camp, he wasn't even like, he wasn't mentally there. He was high. Now, let's get this straight. Athletes do drugs all the time. They do drugs in their free time. There's no problem with that. Do what you want in your life. But it's like when you're in training camp, that's considered work, right? That's considered work. So therefore, I'm thinking that when it came time to get in the training camp, you know, he still was having those days where he would go, you know, what do you call it? Bump a few lines or some shit. You know, where he would, you know, and I'm sure people was in his ear, like telling him, like, yo, listen, you got a fight coming up. Or maybe one day he show up to camp, or, you know, maybe one day he in the bathroom, you know, doing a little line, you know, and, you know, his family, the Fury family is not, how can I put it? I heard some shit about them. You know, they some goons. You know, so they probably was telling him like, yo, what the fuck is you doing, man? You're going to lose all this Klitschko money. You know, you're going to lose your belts, and then they're going to ridicule the shit out of you. So I'm sure people was talking to him, and I know they knew. You know, he probably chilling with Huey one day, you know, Huey Fury one day, you know, because they real close. And, you know, he probably was telling him, you know, like, yo, cuz, like, you're doing that shit, man. So now the question is, what's he using performance-enhancing drugs? Now, remember what we talked about last night? Well, if you wasn't here last night, a performance-enhancing drug doesn't necessarily mean, you know, that you're taking, well, it doesn't mean that you're taking anabolic steroids and you're gaining more strength. He's been known to blow up in weight. So maybe he could have been taking something, you know, like to help him cut that weight. But you have to think to yourself that this was a very, very serious matter. This was a very, very serious matter because look at all this money he walked away from. You know, and you could say he walked away from it because he was doing coke. And it just seems that there wasn't somebody that could break him away from that. You see what I'm saying? You know, it wasn't somebody that was able to talk to him and say, Fury better be running from the cops in a minute. I can't read that. But it wasn't, you know, you can tell that, you know, that maybe people were trying to talk to him and say, yo, you got to stop doing this shit. And they just couldn't reach him. They couldn't reach him. And then this is just all speculation. word is his wife get down with the partying too. So therefore, you have that that nuclear situation where you're both enabling each other. So now he's got to take his ass to rehab, and he's got to write these organizations, and he's really got to play, not play the depressed card, because obviously he's fucking depressed. Even though he's doing drugs, that shit, look what he just lost. He may never make that money again. He may never be the same again. His career may be over. Of course, these are all maybes, but you got to think, of course, as they call it over in the UK, of course he's got to be gutted. Of course his team has got to be gutted, because despite what you think of Tyson Fury, he's 6'9", on a good day, 240 pounds, 245 pounds on a good day. He can move, right? He's got the punch variety, right? And he's entertaining. T-Street, what do you think about McGregor calling out Mayweather? Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're only talking about the heavyweight division. And we're only talking about Tyson Fury in the heavyweight division. I am not answering no other questions involving any other boxing right now. And this is going to be a 60 to 90 minute stream. So, we're, that's it. We're not doing that. So, me myself, I never did coke. I did shrooms in a cabin. Played darts for like 8 hours in the cold. I dropped some acid. This was all during my college years, and I smoked weed. I never could get, like how people can put stuff up their nose. Like, don't it sting? Don't it burn? I can't even put eye drops in my eyes. So I never could get how people can just, put shit up their nose. It's just, sounds scary as fuck. But it's considered a party drug. I've seen cocaine cowboys, and if you haven't, you should check it out. It's considered a party drug. I didn't know that, like I knew about the drug business, but where I grew up, like cocaine, as far as powder, wasn't a big issue. Everybody was on crack, freebasing. So it wasn't until I got older that I learned like about cocaine and shit. And I saw like how, and researched heavily, like how that shit literally during the 80s destroyed Miami, destroyed the shit out of Miami. And then once it got into the black communities or urban communities in the 60s, it was heroin. Heroin was a big problem first. In the late 60s, 70s, and then 80s just was, black businesses closing, families, yada yada yada. But we're not going to get into a history lesson. The point is, I've heard that cocaine is very, very, very addictive. That once you do it once, if you're out in like a party situation and somebody got that shit, you're going to do it again. So, I don't really have all the details now because I'm sure more and more news is trickling out each hour. And since I've been on here, we don't know what any new developments are. All we know is that on September the 22nd, last week, he failed a drug test, for cocaine. Now, of course, if he failed the drug test for cocaine, I'm wondering, they had to test for everything, right? They're not going to say, okay, well, let's just test for this cocaine. So, like, did they find anything else in the system? And will they release it? And the thing about over there in the UK is you're going to face a ban. You're going to face a 4-year ban. Is it really necessary to strip Fury? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is really necessary because it's like this, right? If you get a job that you have to take a drug test for, right? And you fail that drug test. I mean, they give you, you know, let's say you had the job for 6 months and they give you a random drug test and you fail that shit, they're going to fire the shit out you. Now, of course, they're going to say, well, you know, go get some help and things like that. But they're going to fire the shit out you. You know? They're going to fire the shit out your ass. So boxing, I understand that it's a combat sport, but it's still a job. You know, you can't know that if you're the WBC, well, he has if you're the WBA or the WBL or a ring, that fucks up your integrity. If you know that one of your fighters that is holding your prestigious championship is on cocaine and failing drug tests, and you're saying, don't worry about it, it's cool, it's only coke. You know? It's only coke. We're going to this. Let me get the Tyson Fury stuff out of the way first. And then we're going to talk about, you know, Klitschko versus Joshua, or Joshua versus Klitschko. So we're going in a chronological order. We're going in a chronological order. So should they strip him? Yes. And also, it's been a year since he fought. So you have to think how they thinking. They gotta think like, well, shit. No wonder why he was fucking taking so long. You know, and how serious was that ankle injury? Even though he showed it. You know, no wonder why this shit's taking so long. You know? It's been a year. So you can't hold up that title. You know, those titles. You can't do that, especially when you have a heavyweight division that is on fire right now. You know, the heavyweight division is deep. You know, it's really deep. Why isn't Ortiz mentioned? Because Ortiz, let me tell you what Luis Ortiz did, because people seem to be confused. There was a purse bid. Okay, first he was brought out of his Golden Boy contract, right? Then there was a purse bid for him to fight Ortiz-Hustonoff, and the winner of that fight would go on to fight the winner of Fury versus Klitschko at that time. So there's been talks that, and we know what happened over in Russia with a Deontay Wilder situation. Luis Ortiz, who by the way failed the drug test in the past himself, Luis Ortiz wanted VADA testing. From my understanding, he wanted VADA testing. But Hustonoff, Ortiz-Hustonoff, who just so happens to be promoted by World Boxing Promotions, the promoter of Alexander Povetkin, they wanted to use the whatever drug testing they use over there. So basically, from what I get, is Luis Ortiz walked away from that. So that fight is not happening. And you have to think that, well, I can understand, you know, why he would want to use VADA. In my opinion, VADA is the #1 testing organization. But you still got to defend your belt. You still got to defend your belt. And also, you lost, your side lost the purse bid. So therefore, you got to do what that promoter over there says. So Luis Ortiz is about to be stripped. Well, he could very well be stripped. You know, so people keep saying, why you're not talking about Luis Ortiz, and why is nobody talking about him? He's in a very, very good situation. If he was to beat Hustonoff, right, then he would have been the mandatory for the winner of Fury versus Klitschko. You know, so it is what it is. It is what it is. So now the heavyweight division is in a, I can't say it's in tatters. I can't say it's in shambles, but basically it's a very confusing situation if you don't follow the boxing politics. And that's what we're going to try to get out of the way during this video, so we all have a clear understanding on what's likely going to happen in the heavyweight division. Also, we're going to talk about, obviously, what's going to happen with that WBA belt, what's going to happen with that WBO belt, you know, what's going to happen with that Ring Magazine belt. We're going to talk about the fact that Joseph Parker can hold out and not fight Anthony Joshua. He can fight Andy Ruiz or Hughie Fury for that WBO. Let's stay in chronological order, all right? So let's get the whole Tyson Fury stuff out of the way first. Let's get the whole Tyson Fury stuff out of the way first. Is it time for a break yet? We're going to take one 10-minute break in about 15 minutes. You know, like a little bit of intermission, but like in about 15 minutes. So now you have to wonder what's going to happen with those titles and when. So from my understanding, what I've been hearing is that Eddie Hearn and Klitschko team, Eddie Hearn and Klitschko's team have been contacting the WBA and the WBO, trying to, you know, get those organizations to do something like, yo, strip him soon as possible. He's not fighting. You know, so you have to think they knew something. They knew he was on drugs. You have to think they knew already. You know, so you have to think that Eddie Hearn, you know, that Anthony Joshua got this fight coming up. Vladimir Klitschko has been wanting to fight for a long time, and he doesn't want to waste this training camp. So they've been getting in the WBA, the WBO's ear, and now the WBA or the WBO can strip Fury as soon as next week. And therefore, and from that and Ring Magazine, and therefore, Joshua versus Klitschko can be a go for that I know. Okay, here's the situation. I know for sure. I feel for sure that if Joshua versus Klitschko would happen, let's say if it happens in November or December or January or February, they're really trying to get it done by like for the 26th. But the thing is, remember, they're running out of time. Even though the fight would be a sure sellout, they want to have time to properly promote it. So Eddie Hearn wants that fight. If it does happen, he wants the WBA and the WBO and the Ring Magazine to do what they're going to do and strip him. So therefore, he can go to Klitschko and say, all right, listen, you know, let's do this fight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to secure a bigger venue. So he's working with time to you know, with a limited amount of time, because he's got to get another venue that's going to be bigger than where was Anthony Joshua going to fight November in the O2. So, you know, it's a very, 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 very complex, very, very, very complex situation. And, you know, they're trying their best to get their hands on that belt. But then also, they had to wait. Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua had to wait until after Joseph Parker fights tomorrow morning. I'm going to be covering that fight, by the way. It's very, 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 very early in the morning. You know, but they're going to have it the replay on Sky Sports later on in the day or something. So they wasn't going to be able to make their decision until, you know, like Monday or Tuesday or something. So, you know, it's really you know, the whole situation is very complex. It's very complex. So you have to know. So you have to know, like, the boxing political landscape, and the best way to do it is I need to show you the heavyweight division. Yeah, let's do that. By the way, I'm launching a website. It will be launched this month, and I'm going to have full updated boxing rankings weekly. Now, of course, boxing rankings come out, you know, once a month. But you know, if somebody wins a championship, things like that. Also, I'm going to do something very innovative with that. And basically, I can't tell you anymore until the website's done. So my website, fightview360.com, is going to be a place where you can go and educate yourself on boxing. You know? So in the meantime, this is a very good source to use for the meantime. And I've been giving these guys like a lot of, you know, like airtime on my channel. Okay, can you guys see it? Can you guys see it? Can you guys see it? Can you guys see the screen share? For some reason, it's not coming up on my end. Can y'all see it? Can y'all see the rankings? Somebody say yes. All right. Okay. So we're going to go down the heavyweight division as best that we can. So you got to follow me. You got to follow me. Okay. So you know what's happening with the Deontay Wilder-Alexander Povetkin situation. Deontay Wilder, when he comes back, he'll be fighting sometime in May. Maybe May, no later than June. He's going to have to fight the winner of Alexander Povetkin versus Bermane. This fight is going to be announced very soon and will likely take place in December or in January. Now, I'm not going to go into details, you know, because I talked about it so many times. I even had the contract, you know, for Deontay Wilder and Alexander Povetkin. I'm not gonna go into it, you know, anymore. And you have Kubrat Pulev, who is the second mandatory for Anthony Joshua after Joseph Parker gets his shot. Very confusing situation. Joseph Parker is fighting Alexander Dmytrenko. Alexander Dmytrenko was supposed to fight Luis Ortiz earlier this year, but Dmytrenko dropped out and Luis Ortiz ended up fighting Tony Thompson. You have this guy, David Haye, who now is licking his chops because David Haye has been up to something. It's been heavily rumored that David Haye was going to fight Lucas Brown for that WBA regular title. So it's going to be very interesting to see what David Haye is going to be doing. Obviously, Johan Duhaupas, who lost to Deontay Wilder, but yet Johan Duhaupas had beat up a very good heavyweight, a fading heavyweight, but a very good heavyweight in Robert Herlinez. You have Andy Ruiz, who was, from my understanding, it was a done deal for him to fight Hughie Fury on the undercard of Fury versus Klitschko. So we don't know what Andy Ruiz is doing. Maybe that you have to think, maybe Top Rank and Andy Ruiz team knew something, so therefore they withdrew from the Hughie Fury fight and said, well, listen, instead of fighting for a potential title shot, let's pull you out of this fight and wait for the WBO to order you to fight for the championship, the real WBO title. And remember, Top Rank and Andy Ruiz's promoter, Bob Arum, is in cahoots and very close with Paco Villarreal, I forgot how to pronounce his name, who is the president of the WBO. Bryant Jennings, I talked to a friend of his last week at a party. He's got something coming up. Malik Scott is like the Andrew Bynum of boxing. You know, we're just gonna, I don't want to discuss this situation. Eric Molina, he beat up Tomas Adamek, and he is trying to get who? I forgot who he was trying to get. He's trying to get somebody. I forgot who. Gerald Washington, you know, no really point talking about him. You know, he's an Al Heyman fight. Carlos Takam, of course, earlier this year, he lost to Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker didn't look very good in that fight. You got Maurice Walk. I don't even know why this guy's still fucking ranked. You got Derek Chisora, who's trying to do some maneuvering as well. And you got Gerald Big Baby Miller, who is finally ranked. But see, people say, well, why won't people fight Big Baby Miller? For one, it's you fight Gerald Miller, you know, it's high risk, low reward. So Gerald Miller has to pay his dues right now. Gerald Miller needs to be fighting somebody like Kwak, you know, or maybe a Duhaupas or somebody like that. You know, and also he's going to have to travel outside of the United States. Now, as we talked about Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz was supposed to fight Alexander Hustonoff. There was a purse bid. Everything was a go. In fact, a purse bid was ordered twice. Only one of them went through. So basically, Luis Ortiz he's been fucking up. You know, now here's the thing. I understand, you know, like where he's coming from as far as, you know, he wants to buy the drug testing, but they got to come to an agreement because he's going to get stripped. He's going to get stripped. Truth be told, the WBA is fucked up. Remember one point in time, the WBA had a dead guy ranked, and then he was dead, and they moved him up in the rankings the next month, not knowing he was dead. So the point I'm trying to make is this Fresno Quindo guy, I remember him. Didn't he fight Holyfield? I remember him. Why is he even ranked this high? Who is this guy? Fuck this guy. You got Lucas Brown, who beat, is he still ranked? He better not still be ranked. Oh, okay, cool, he's not. He beat Ruslan Chagiev for the WBA interim title. No, correction. The WBA regular title. Luis Ortiz is WBA interim champion. He beat Ruslan Chagiev for the WBA regular world title, or the title to best, you know, put it in the into, you know, layman's terms so you can understand, the title that Danny Jacobs has. Lucas Brown failed the drug test for some contaminated meats, allegedly contaminated meats. And the WBA awarded the belt back to Ruslan Chagayev, and Ruslan Chagayev didn't pay his sanctioning fees, so the WBA went to go find him, and then he said, "Oh no, I'm retired." So that WBA regular world title is vacant, and that's where the rumors came from, where David Haye was trying to fight Lucas Brown to get that WBA world title, because then he would have been the mandatory after Luis Ortiz and Alexander Hustonoff to get a shot at either Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua or Vladimir Klitschko. T Street, do you think this is 100% true? What do I think is 100% true? You need to go do some research, bro, and don't ask no. I don't want to be disrespectful because I know you're a fan and you've been around for a long time, you know, or a supporter. I don't like using that word. You've been around for a long time, but it's like, yo, bro, really? Really? Is it 100% true? Really? 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 Come on. Let me get back to what I was saying. So David Haye is doing some maneuvering. That's why he ducked Shannon Briggs. You know, because why fight Shannon Briggs when I can fight for a title? And he dicked Shannon Briggs over in his butt with no Vaseline because he had Shannon Briggs fight on his card and did a you know, verbal agreement that he would fight Shannon Briggs if he won. You got Manuel Char, you know, he's still winning, you know, but I don't really consider him a big name. He had his shot. Then you got Shannon Briggs, who's trying to get a fight still, you know, and then you got Joseph Parker, Gerald Miller. This guy here is pretty good. I got to check this guy out. You know, he's pretty good. So basically, I pretty much, yeah, I summed up the heavyweight, you know, situation, right? I summed it up. So now we'll be waiting for, did I answer you? Okay, now we're only answering questions about heavyweights and the heavyweight division. You know, no other questions involving any other boxing right now. You know, just the heavyweights. In fact, I'm supposed to be asleep right now. You know, so please, guys, be kind, all right? Be kind. You know? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play something in the background. What am I going to play? Something Tyson Fury related. Okay, here. I'll play this. Excuse me. In 1 minute. All right. We already talked about Ruiz. We already talked about Ruiz. We already talked about Ruiz. Let me play something Tyson Fury-ish. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to play a snippet. IFL is awesome. I love IFL. They the fucking shit. Shout out to Cougs. To the Cougs. We're going to play a little snippet of Anthony Joshua's. You know what I noticed IFL has an issue with? They real big over there, right? But over here, if they try to do shit, you know, their videos for like American boxing don't be getting no hits. I know why it is too. Videos don't be getting no hits. Damn, where's it at? Hold on. Give me 1 minute to look it up. My bad. I'm taking too long. Fury. There we go. This is awesome. Ever since I got this smart TV, my whole fucking life has changed.
Get a £5 free bet every week with Offer Club.
Just awesome. Okay, so I'll be right back.
He said on many occasions, what's it for? I'm okay, James, thanks.
I just want to say congratulations on Coliseum and the win tonight. Thank you. You're impressive for a young prospect on this tournament.
Yeah, he's an exceptional talent. He will.
They got the breaking news that Tyson Fury and Klitschko and agreement is off as it's standing at the moment. Is there anything you can sort of tell us about what has happened and what's been going on?
I think it's a combination of things. I think when he won the world title, the way he was treated, he said to me, I came back off the boat, I picked up the paper, expected to be celebrated, he said straight away, he said the hate campaign started. So I think over the period of that, he was okay. He was complaining a lot about it. And, he said, you know, we're just not accepted. You know, I've won the world title, and this is how I'm treated. You know, I'm almost being like a vendetta against me since I won it. So I think that never pleased him too much. And I think he's just, he said on many occasions, what's it for? Because if I'm not being accredited for the work I've done and the achievement that I've achieved, why am I bothering? So I think it's created a lot of negativity in him as a person. You know, and like I said, it's just the lack of respect he's received on a global scale. So obviously that's had an effect. And you know, he could come in the gym for a rematch. He did injure his ankle, that was all genuine. He was having a good camp. But even so, when we were going in Holland, you know, he kept saying, you know, I'm going to do it, you know, but I'm losing interest in this game. So
because he was high.
I think from then we had various issues with him. He was snapping a lot.
Look, you hear?
So you know, he's coming in the gym.
Pay attention to this. You know, Peter, like when I watched this interview, he told, when I watched this interview, my bad, I'm eating a cheesesteak. He told us everything, like indirectly. Like listen to him, to how Fury, you know, he was snapping a lot, you know.
His mind was elsewhere some days. And I think because of the witch hunt against him.
Listen.
So I think it's created a lot of negativity in him as a person. You know, and like I said, it's just the lack of respect he's received on a global scale. So obviously that's had an effect. And you know, he could come in the gym for a rematch. He did injure his ankle, that was all genuine. He was having a good camp. But even so, when we were going in Holland, you know, he kept saying, you know, I'm going to do it, you know, but I'm losing interest in this game. So I think from then we had various issues with him. He was snapping a lot. You know, so you know, he's coming in the gym. You know, his mind was elsewhere some days. And I think because of the witch hunt against him and the recent allegations and everything else, I think it's put him over the edge. And he said, if this is what boxing is doing, I don't want it. So basically, you know, there's a lot to be answered for. Very disappointing for me because we've got a super talent here, and you know, whether it be himself or whatever you want to say, he's been drove underground with it, almost so he's at breaking point. Now he is seeking out. There will be a statement issued probably Tuesday, and basically nothing means anything. So he's,
yeah, White is definitely British level.
And basically, he was. I think he's always been a little bit up and down in the past. You know, Tyson is volatile, always has been, but never like this. So because of the disrespect he's had and the recent allegations with doping allegations and all this, he just sees it's a complete witch hunt. Why bother? So this is the reasons. His condition will be discussed later on. Our priority is Tyson. You know, let's be honest. This payday for Tyson was between 5 to 6 million in his bank account. Not small money. So if he had a team around him who was in it for the money, Tyson would be pushed in there. But when the mind's not right and he's not with it, you know, because the interest isn't there, we've got to look at his interest. You know, we've got to really see Tyson and value him as a human being, as a person, especially with being family as well. And you know, I'm not interested in Tyson getting in there and having a 50% Tyson, or could be endangering his health, because you know he's lost a hell of a lot of interest, and it's due to what I've said, and that was put him in a certain condition. So the main thing for us at the minute is getting Tyson back on track. It ain't about God and me, essentially. It ain't about anybody. It's about Tyson himself and the way he views the world that views him. So we're looking at it, and hopefully he'll get on the mend and he'll be back. You know, it's a catalyst of events, which has led into almost breaking point. There's only so much, you know, a man can take.
Do you feel the old Tyson Fury and the mentality he had before and the way he approaches work will return to him?
You know, I think it will. I think he won the title at 27. And look, he's only a young man. He's had a lot of stick. You know, so he's never been in any real issues. He's never been in trouble in his life. You know, it's all new to him. You know, it's a lot to handle when the world's on your back and you feel like you've not been respected. You know, so you know, everybody sees things differently. You know, I think so. He's okay when he's with me. But Tyson's a deep thinker. He's an overthinker at times. You know, and you know, it's just got on top of him. You know, and the current allegations, you know, I don't even want to begin to start with them because they are the biggest corrupt lot of allegations I've ever seen in life. So, you know, this is totally wrong what's going on. That's as much as I can say about it. At the end of the day, we have a phenomenal
I agree,
world
Barry.
champion. So everybody needs to look in the mirror what they're doing. You know, because they're doing a lot of damage to him. You know, he's a nice human being, Tyson, no matter what people say. You know, it's a gentleman to everybody. Stops, does interviews, it's the best he can. And this is how he gets treated. So for me, the water the duck's back. So he's not me, everybody takes it differently. So, you know, he wanted the acclaim of what he achieved, he wanted people to get behind him. He doesn't see that. He said to me, how's all this come about with the allegations? What's happening here? He just thinks it's a witch hunt and let him get on with it. So he is not in his mind out to please anybody. It's all about himself. But when you get in positions where he can't be bothered with anything, he's lost interest, you know, sometimes he probably can't be bothered to get up in the morning. You know, so he's on an all-time low.
Tyson's well-being, his health is more important than anything in the world. Do you think that you see him back in the boxing?
100%. I don't think it's anything severe as far as it's got long-term effects. I think he needs a bit of time out. He needs to take the pressure off, and he needs some medical assistance. And I think he'll be back. I think he'll be okay.
Has there been sort of, you mentioned the stories, the pressure, the tension, the sort of the witch hunt? Did this affect the reason why he didn't sort of turn up for the press conference? Has this been going underneath the surface a little while longer than maybe we've been aware of?
Well, look, even we didn't know what was happening. You know, he's come into the gym, turned for the press conference. You know, I said to him, I said, you need to do this, you need to do that. I was going, okay. There was like no drive there. So, you know, clearly there was something amiss. So we finally got into his seat, took some help. We found out what the problem is. And from what I can gather, it is due to the way he's been treated and the current allegations. So that man can only take so much.
He's worked his whole life to get into the situation, to be the unified heavyweight world champion. Has he been in any contact with the governing bodies, and are they accepted as a legitimate reason for Tyson Fury not fighting?
I don't think they've been contacted yet, you know, because everybody else is like a pack of vermin, aren't they? You know, they'll be on to the governing bodies and do whatever they can. Everybody's jumping over everybody's back to try and get in a position because that's boxing. It's literally a rat race. You know, when you're
but obviously, I can't play the whole interview. But basically, if you watch the interview, if you listen closely what he was saying, and this was last week, it was like, oh yeah, he's saying he's on something, because he's saying shit like Peter was saying shit like, well, we'll discuss his condition. First, you're saying he's depressed. Depression is a condition, and then you're saying we'll discuss his condition. You know, next week. And then when you're saying, you know, he's coming into camp, you know, snapping out, or, you know, he's missing press conferences, or what else did he say? You know, they was trying to tell him like, yo, you got to do this, you know, and he like, man, fuck this shit. So it's like this. You can't judge him, right? You can't judge him. I was labeled an alcoholic and still labeled an alcoholic because I went to rehab, and that shit, you can't fight that shit by yourself. You know, you gotta literally, let me tell you what I did. I had to literally, you know, I don't want to say cut off, but I had to step away from all my friends. All of them. I had to cut all the females off. All of them. And I had to literally isolate myself like in the house. Because I was going through a phase, right, where I had a lot of shit going on. I discussed in detail last night. I had a lot of shit going on. So I tried to quit drinking myself. Also, I was a bartender for 10 years. So it's like, how you gonna try to quit drinking when you're around drinking every day? So I quit bartending and I stayed in the house for like a month, you know, and I was trying to kick that shit myself. What I did was I kicked that shit cold turkey because I had an issue where every day involved drinking. So I would meet a female, right? Or pick up a female after I would get off work, go to a happy hour, you know, drink, have a good time there. Then with a female or go to pick one up, stop at the liquor store, go home with her, get drunk. Then that cycle just repeated itself over and over and over and over to the point where it was like, yo, I started doing some crazy ass shit. So no, I was never diagnosed or nothing like that with alcoholism. You know, I still drink every now and then and I'm cool. But the thing is, there's a stigma that comes with like mental health and with substance abuse that Tyson Fury is going to have to deal with. Because now, with his charismatic character, right? Let's say if he fights again next year, if he does something crazy and outlandish, what are people going to say? What are they going to say? If he has an exciting press conference and he starts talking all this crazy shit, and let's say this time he fucking decides to come to a press conference dressed up as motherfucking Barney, what are they going to say? Oh, he must be on the coke again. I can't do certain shit no more because people are going to say shit like, oh, he must be drinking again. You know, there's a stigma that comes with that now. And it's a shame because he may not be the same Tyson Fury anymore because of that stigma. You know, because he's going to think, you know, if he do some crazy ass shit, you know, boxers are going to start slaughtering him. Right now, it's not time to slaughter him yet because it would be distasteful. So, for example, if a boxer was to tweet some shit like, "Hi," that's what that fucking. Or let's say, for example, if somebody like Deontay Wilder tweet him like, "Hi," you know, that cokehead, yada 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 yada. Deontay Wilder is going to get slaughtered because people are going to say, "Oh, you know, you're insensitive and all kind of shit like that." But wait until like later on, like in the middle of next year. Or later on when Tyson Fury come back and he start trying to talk shit to somebody, they're gonna throw that shit right in his face. They're gonna throw that shit right in his face. Like, oh, you must be on coke again. That shit be burning me up. That shit be burning me up. You know, when people try to like use your mental health or your mental illness against you. You know, I take anti-anxiety medication, but you know, excuse my language, you know, but when I get into situations where I'm with a female and she knows what I be going through, and if I snap out and say, yo, like, I'm sick and tired of this shit, shut the fuck up. What's she going to say, right? Oh, you need to take your medicine. I'd be like, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, I can't get mad. I can't have a regular day and get mad. Shit burns me up, man. Burns me up. But that's the type of shit he's going to have to deal with. It's what he's going to have to deal with. Also, I started my, today I'm doing a 30-day all water with some lemon, maybe, but no sugary beverages. So I know I'm going to go through a state of withdrawal from that when you're drinking soda like every day. And truth be told, that's how I put on that 60 pounds. You know, drinking fucking motherfucking soda all day, every day. So, you know, wish me luck. Man, wish me luck. So I'm pretty much sure that my skin is going to look clearer. I'm going to drop hella weight. And we're going to try to turn that into a lifestyle. We're going to try to turn it into a lifestyle. You know, let's see what Eddie Hearn has to say. Let's see what Eddie Hearn has to say.
What's the rest of the cost?
By the way, Tyson Fury was at Krolla versus Linares, but they said he left really, really early.
Jose, performance disappointing.
Let's see what he has to say.
Around, giving it the swag, and then I saw him after the fight. You know, nose bloody, tired. That wasn't very good, was it? Good. Go away. Stay humble. Remember you're learning. You've got to have 20 of these fights because you had no actual pedigree at all. 20 of these fights over the next couple of years, and then you'll be ready. And then we'll see if you're good enough. I believe he will be.
I tried coconut water. I gag.
You know, every time you think you cracked it, it's like us. It's our conversation the other day. We've cracked it. We haven't cracked it. We're smashing it. We've never cracked it, did it?
Absolutely. Interesting spectator here today. This Tyson Fury.
I saw him in the, to sort of walk past him, and it was like a weird turn.
This is Eddie Hearn talking about how Tyson Fury was at the fight last weekend.
But you know, you've got to learn. I mean, the job is never done.
Right back.
You know, every time you think you cracked it, it's like us. It's our conversation the other day. We've cracked it. We haven't cracked it. We're smashing it. We've never cracked it, did it?
Absolutely. Interesting spectator here today. This Tyson Fury.
I saw him in the, to sort of walk past him, and it was like a weird turn.
Okay, now see, that's what I'll do. Like if y'all ask me, as I told you at the beginning of the video, we're only talking about the heavyweight division and Tyson Fury. So any heavyweight questions you have, I'll answer. All right. So there was some issues. Rob Binsky, the promoter of who did you ask about? Stavern? No, you asked, yeah. The promoter of Povetkin and Don King, it was said they were having some issues. But now the fight it's pretty much a go. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So I'm saying it's not looking likely for December. I wouldn't be surprised, but it's not looking likely for December. I say like January. You know, definitely January, because see, they're not going to push it to February, because if Povetkin wins, they want to go directly after Deontay Wilder when he returns. So like I said, I'll answer heavyweight questions. Can we talk David Haye? We already pretty much talked about that, but I'll go into it in a we pretty much already talked about David Haye. I'm gonna go into that situation again though, so just give me a little bit of time so I can check something out real quick. Be right back.
You know, I mean, there are so many rumors. You know, we had an interview the other day, and I said that fight won't happen. Now, some people might think I was a genius at that. I'm happy for you to think that, but everybody in boxing was saying that fight wasn't going to happen. So people know what's going on behind the scenes. The rumors, there's like 20 rumors about what's wrong. Saw a piece in the Mirror, like breaking tomorrow. But I mean, I don't really care. I want to get Tyson Fury back in the ring. I want him to fight Vladimir Klitschko because, you know, I want any Joshua to fight the winner. And you know, people talk about a Klitschko fight. I emailed Bern Ponte last night. He called me this morning. We had 45 minutes on the phone, and that fight, you know, is it's doable. Will it happen on November 26th? Maybe. The problem is what happens to the belts. Tyson Fury, Peter Fury, Hennessy are going to hold on to them as long as they can. The governing bodies are going to want him stripped because they want it to be active, so they can get their sanction fees. The contenders.
I mean, basically, you can tell if you listen to Eddie, he kind of like dry snitching a little bit, you know, and you can tell that he's been calling up those promoters. I mean, not those promoters, those sanctioning bodies, and like, yo, listen, we got Anthony Joshua. He's active. He'll be fighting 3 times a year, so you can get your sanctioning fees. So why don't you make, you know, Joshua versus Klitschko for those belts? Fury is not fighting. I'm sure you hear the rumors. So you got to imagine how Eddie Hearn is talking on the phone, you know, to these sanctioning bodies and the WBO and the WBA, like, yeah, you right.
Piranhas, as I call them, are going to be, it's doable. Will it happen on November 26th? Maybe. The problem is what happens to the belts. Tyson Fury, Peter Fury, Hennessy are going to hold.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying anything that Eddie Hearn is doing is wrong, because if I'm the promoter, I'm going to be doing the same shit. I'm going to be like, yo, dude, not fighting. We got fighters that need those belts.
As long as they can. The governing bodies are going to want him stripped because they want it to be active so they can get their sanction fees. The contenders, the piranhas, as I call them, are going to be nibbling at the governing body saying you have to strip him. So I believe he'll be stripped. And if he is, if we can get Vladimir Klitschko against AJ for a unification on November 26th, that fight becomes a real possibility.
So it won't happen without Fury being stripped of
no, because I think
belts.
Klitschko is waiting for two. You know, he's in a great position right now. He doesn't want us to just come as a voluntary challenger for AJ. He wants to fight that WBA belt and the WBO if possible and the IBO. So, and for us, a fight like that, yeah, we'd like some extra belts on the line as well. Maybe he fights Lucas Brown, I don't know, and then we do the fight in March or April. But
so the front runner is still Parker.
Yeah, he's a mandatory, and you know, we'd like to get that fight done. But honestly, you know, and I put it out to the hand, people are like, oh yeah, right. But all I can tell you is, I texted Josh last night and I said, there's a chance that you could fight Klitschko for WBA title. He said, let's go. Spoke to Tony Sims, you know, and they said, right, let's look at the money. Don't see why not. And I think there's probably a few people who feel like Parker might be as dangerous as Klitschko. Yeah. We don't know, do we? I mean, Klitschko's 40 nearly. He didn't look good at all in his last fight, or was Tyson Fury just incredible that night? The whole thing is like a soap opera, isn't it? It's like a drama, but that's boxing.
When we confirm?
Next week, probably end of next week, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll go away, be working all day tomorrow.
Okay, so basically, I mean, you heard it. So just to briefly go over it again, I'm sorry. For those who want to like hear the full breakdown. Oh shit, my bad, camera's not on. For those who want to hear the full breakdown, then you have to go back and rewind because it was way too complex to explain that shit again. So basically, remember what I said earlier in the video, and it's logical sense that Eddie Hearn and Klitschko and Anthony Joshua want to fight. Yeah, I sleep with the air conditioner on. It's off now. It's a nice, it's like 70 degrees in here right now. But you have Klitschko, you know, you have Klitschko, Eddie Hearn, and Joshua who want to fight. But the thing is, for it to happen in November, in that short period of time, you know, less than 2 months away, they want to make sure belts are on the line. And Eddie Hearn talked about how, you know, the piranhas are going after the belts. He's the piranha. You know, you can't tell me he didn't call it the WBO or the WBA and say, yo, listen, we got, you know, Anthony Joshua, you know, and then Klitschko, put those belts on the line for that. You get those major sanctioning fees. You don't have to, you know. So you have to think about that. You have to think about that. And basically okay, put it this way. If the WBO or the WBA don't strip Tyson Fury by next week, remember, the WBO gave Tyson Fury 10 days to give an explanation on why he didn't defend his title or wasn't going to fight Klitschko. Well, today, what has been like the 5th day, the news comes out about the drug test. So Tyson Fury is, I mean, he's going to be stripped. And he should be stripped. But I look at it like this. If you're going to like strip him now, you know, don't let it linger. Strip him now. No, the AC is off. That's why the temperature is now 73 degrees in here. You know, it's getting hot in here. You know, so strip him now. You see what I'm saying? Don't let it, you know, wait. But I think it's more logical, right? For like now I understand, like us as boxing fans, we want to see the fight as soon as possible. Where's my camera? Let me get it to focus. The camera's out of focus. Let me fix this for a minute. Well, it'll focus back in. I feel that it's logical for them to have the fight in March or April. You know, fight Joseph Parker, because you already got the venue secured. Joseph Parker is the mandatory. You got to fight him anyway. You know, get that out of the way. You know, but what if Joseph Parker decides to fight Andy Ruiz and say, well, you know what? I'm going to push that fight because, okay, Joseph Parker is the IBF mandatory, right? If he invokes his IBF mandatory, you know, clause, and also he's the WBO mandatory as well, but if he invokes his IBF mandatory clause, then he gets removed from the WBO rankings. He has two potential. He has a chance to have two potential title fights. That title fight with Andy Ruiz or Hughie Fury, where he can win the WBO, and what I feel won't be big money fights, but he can win. You know, against in my opinion, Hughie Fury will give him some problems. Andy Ruiz will give him some problems. Even though Andy Ruiz's body look like shit, Andy Ruiz has nice hands. Don't let that shit fool you. Andy Ruiz got nice hands. But in my opinion, he would have a better chance to beat Andy Ruiz and you know, have to go, you know, to the cards with Hughie Fury, who's a very good boxer, but not aggressive enough, in my opinion. You know, so it really you know, it's this weekend, you know, especially during that Joseph Parker post-fight interviews, it's going to be really interesting to see like where he goes and what he does. And meanwhile, you got David Haye somewhere, you know, sipping his tea, eating his biscuits, sipping his tea. What are you talking about? Why are you talking about? Did you just say, nigga, you got nice tits? Who are you talking to? You ain't talking to me. But anyway, there's some freaks, man. But you have David Haye somewhere licking his chops like, oh shit, shit just opened up. You have to factor in that David Haye is a big money fight for somebody. So David Haye either wants to get a title or he wants to be in the big money fight. So even though Tyson Fury fucked up a lot of shit, because I really wanted to see Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. I really wanted to see Tyson Fury versus Klitschko too. I really wanted to see Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Tyson, man, you know, Tyson Fury. I really ranked him high, you know, as a heavyweight. I really ranked him high as a heavyweight. Who's my number one heavyweight? It was Tyson Fury. My number one heavyweight was Tyson Fury. Ain't that crazy? But here's the thing. I've been watching Tyson Fury for years. You know, he was the first heavyweight that I started covering like major for, like on YouTube. So, you know, and I was saying like a long time ago, like 5 years ago, like, dude is good, you know? And just to see this happen, like to see him like become a world champion, just like when it came to Anthony Joshua. I watched all of Anthony Joshua fights. What is it, 17 of them? I covered an astounding 15 Anthony Joshua fights. So to me, it's a good feeling knowing that, wow, I watched this boxer come up, you know? So it's just like to see this happen to Tyson Fury is sad because we don't know if he's ever going to come back. We don't know, you know, if he's ever going to come back. Okay, Ricky Davies, last warning, bro. Last warning. Last warning. So we got another 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 minutes left. Remember, I told you this is going to be a firm 60 to 90 minute stream. So we're already over the 60-minute mark. We are not going to be here. We're not going to be here for no 2 hours. And I think this was a pretty productive stream, you know? Pretty productive stream. So let me use this time to give you guys a bit of a heads up. If you don't know, I have a website launching this month. And it's pretty much going to consume and take over my whole life, especially if you want to do it right. And there will be a podcast. So I'm going to do more streams like this. I'm sure it's going to be one. It's going to be definitely. I haven't picked the date yet. I haven't picked the date yet, but it will likely be most likely Thursday afternoons around this time or Fridays around this time. And it's going to be 2 hours. It's going to be a live stream and a podcast simultaneous. It's going to be a weekly show. You know, also, you know, I'm going to go ahead, even though I told you I don't like really doing it, but it's not for me, it's for you guys. I'm going to have a weekly guest on. And it's not going to be no bullshit weekly guest. It's going to be somebody that's going to make the show exciting, you know, and also be able to, you know, tell news. So the website is coming. It's called fightview360.com. And there's no better way to say is that I'm going for an innovative approach. I'm not just having a website just to have a website. Also, a disclaimer is the website will be a separate entity from T Street Controversy Live. I haven't even decided if I'm going to put my videos on there yet. I most likely will not. So, yes. Oh yeah, the dancer's coming. The dancer is really, really coming. It's going to be in December. I just don't know if I'm going to do it on New Year's Eve or do it, you know, just in some random time in December. I may try to get this shit on Christmas. You know, but it's the stripper's coming. Or exotic dancer, right? Exotic dancer. Exotic dancer. Yes, you will see the exotic dancer. It is pretty much confirmed in the winter. I'm going to be driving in a couple of days, and I'm going to start going around to strip clubs and doing my scouting. I'm doing my scouting. And we might get shut down off YouTube that night. Shit is going to be lit. So it's going to be a boxing slash striptease. And what they're going to have is we're going to show tits. You know, so she's going to have like the little, you know how like in movies, right? You can show titties. Like if it's a PG-13 movie, right? You can show titties if they have the stickers on the nipples. So we got to get some of those. You know, I'm thinking about getting stickers of my face and putting them shits on her nipples. Thinking about that shit. Thinking about that. So shit is going to be lit. It's like my dream, you know? I've accomplished like almost all of my YouTube dreams. I didn't get my 1 million views. I came close to getting 1 million views. I got like 906,000, something like that, for my what was it? My Pacquiao versus Bradley 2 post-fight results. So one of my goals is to get 1 million views. I'm talking about not the bullshit 1 million views, like where you put that full fight shit and all that shit. I'm talking about like 1 million views me. You know, I came close. I need to get that. The website. I've already been to fights when people told me I wasn't going to get fights. I've already interviewed when people told me I wasn't going to get interviewed. I've already started my own shit and it's profitable when people told me I wasn't going to be able to start my own shit. So I just got to, I got to get the dancers and the website, and then it's, you know, oh, and also go to Mayweather's gym. There's also something I have to do. So got some plans. You know, next year is going to be very good. But why would you want to do nudity not related to boxing? Sex sells. What type of question is that? What are you going to do if it's like boxing? If I'm talking boxing, right? And then a chick come up here and start shaking her ass. What, you going to leave? You go, oh, God, you going to leave? What, you going to leave? Yeah, I'm pretty gutted about Fury too. That shit hurt, yo. I ain't going to lie, you know? That shit hurt. That shit hurt. You know, because now it's like we don't know when he's going to be back. Okay, let me make this final point. This is what he has to do. He's got to go to rehab, and he can't go to no rehab for like a week. He's got to spend like a month, maybe 2 months. You know, he's got to spend like a month, maybe 2 months. Also, if his chick is using or his wife is using, then she's got to go to rehab too. Because if he come home to rehab, he married, and she's still doing coke. I'm not saying this is all allegedly. We don't know what she's doing. I'm not being disrespectful. We're just reporting the news. If she doing coke, right? He come home from rehab. He clean. She doing coke. Let's say after she finished cooking dinner. Because the first thing you do when you get out of rehab is, my nose is itching. And I'm thinking motherfuckers going to say, I'm going to coke. Motherfuckers say, I'm going to go coke, yo. Coke. But if, oh yeah, it's got down to 66. It's probably one. So, let's say, like, the first thing you do when you first get out of rehab, right? I'm going to leave now. You're a shill for Al Heyman, and you talk straight bullshit. I think I told you guys before, I think that's the most bitch-ass shit you can do. I think that's the most girl, female, on your period shit you can do, especially since you write in all caps. It's like this. If you leave, leave. Why do you want me to know that you leave? That you're leaving? I'm going to clown you. You know, that means you want attention. You want it to be acknowledged. So now that I'm acknowledging you, I'm going to block you for eternity for doing that bitch ass shit. I hate when people do that. I only reply because, see, the people like that, I want to let them know. It's like, yo, you fucking up. So now, motherfucker, you're blocked. I have serious boxing questions, but you ignore. I haven't seen one question from you yet, bro. I haven't seen one question from you yet. But, okay. So the first thing you do when you get out of rehab is, you know, you start looking at the sky and shit. You're like, wow, I'm really out here in the world. You be feeling real good. So you're going to be in a crib a lot. You know, you're going to be in the house a lot. And imagine if his wife is going to be happy to see him. But if she doing coke and he knows she's still doing coke, even if she go down to the basement or if she go out to the car to do that, to take her line, or if she do the shit in the bathroom, he can't be nowhere in the vicinity of that shit. So therefore, she's got to go to rehab too. But when you do it as a couple, you can't go to the same rehab. Because you get like that codependency on each other and shit. You're both married and you're both strung out, you got to be clean or your life is going down the tubes. And it's always been like that throughout history. You can't have two users. You can't have two users, you know, like in the same place. That's why I cut off all my chicks. I stopped chilling with all my friends, all that shit. When you go to rehab, do they lock you in a dark room? No, but you do get the best sleep of your life. You get the best sleep of your life. You got your own, it's like it's a fucking room, you know? Like it's better than like it's better than like a hospital room, but it's not like a hotel. You know, you have your own bathroom, you got a bed. Obviously, you don't have no TV or nothing. You have like reading materials and shit. So every morning you wake up, it'll just be somebody just sitting there right at the side of your bed, like this, the doctor, just watching you and shit. And then they say, you know, like, how are you feeling today, Mr. Bunn? And I'll be like, I'm okay. I'm okay. They start asking you all these questions and all kind of shit like that. But, you know, put it this way. I was scared at first, but it's not as bad as you think. It's not as bad as you think. The only thing that's bad about it is, as I said earlier, is the stigma that comes with it. You know, you tell somebody like before, I couldn't tell people I went to rehab. Why? It's because I always was wondering how people would think about it and the fact that people were trying to use this shit against me. Now, I don't give a fuck. I went to rehab. You know? Okay, Marco, I'm going to read your question. Wasn't Fury already stripped right after he won the British title? He couldn't fight his mandatory. You got to be more specific, bro. Yes, he did get stripped of his IBF title because he couldn't defend his IBF title because he couldn't fight anyone else but Klitschko in another fight. You know? He couldn't fight another fight because he had to fight Klitschko. So therefore, I'm not doing no 4 hours. We're going to be here for, we started at like 1:02. We're going to be here for another, I needed to be an even number. I need to be an even number. So we're going to end in 16 minutes. And let me fix this right now so I can make sure I end in 16 minutes. Give me 1 minute. You see, he won the WBA, the WBO, and the IBF from Klitschko. He couldn't fight anybody else because the mandatory was Zarglaskov. He couldn't fight Zarglaskov because of the rematch clause against Klitschko. So he was pissed at the IBF, and that's why he was saying shit like, fuck the IBF, you know, I'll throw their belt in the trash and all that shit, and I'll never fight for that belt again because they didn't work with him. Just like the IBF did Carl Froch dirty. You know, remember what they did with him? They stripped him after he fought George Groves twice. See, it's like this, Marco. You're asking me why I'm not answering your questions, and that's all good and everything, but it's like you're asking me if he still kept his other belts. So I have to ask you now, you are really a casual. You know, I mean, it's nothing, you know, it's nothing wrong with that. I'm glad you're learning. But if you didn't know Tyson Fury still had his other belts, only God knows what you don't know. Only God knows what else you don't know. You know, so I got to be careful if you do ask questions like which ones to answer, because you know you're gonna annoy me, bro. No disrespect, but it's obviously that you really don't know. Correct, Barry McGarrett. Didn't I say that? I'm confused. Didn't I say that already? But yeah. Oh shit! What else? What are we doing? I'm setting my my little alarm here, so basically I can end this stream. So I can end this fucking stream. Briggs and Haye fight is not happening. That shit is more than dead. That shit is under the casket. You know, that shit is not in the casket. We're not talking about anything outside of heavyweights. I'm sorry. We're not talking about anything outside of heavyweights. I'm trying to look up something really quick. Really quick. Really quick. Somebody was talking about Dylan White. I do believe Dylan White is a domestic level fighter. To me, you know, tell me if I'm wrong. Doesn't he seem like the newer version of Derek Chisora? Like he's going to take Derek Chisora's spot? That's what it feels like to me, is that he's going to take Derek Chisora's spot. You know, as like that guy. You know, here, let's listen to this really quickly. Let's listen to this really quickly. Let's listen to this really quickly. I'll be right back.
Vladimir, because you were the champion for so long. Now, as the challenger, how different does that feel to you? Believe it or not, I do enjoy where I'm right now as a challenger. I'm relieved, relaxed, but alert. I love that. It's totally different than I had it in the past 11 years.
You still have the ambition to get those belts once more.
I still have the youth, the strength to make it, and that's why I'm so happy that I have this rematch. What can you do different from first time round?
The difference is I'm just gonna let my hands go, which I did in the first fight. And then you will see the difference. And then you will see the difference.
What do you think, Tyson?
He says he's going to do it, so I believe he is. I believe he will let his hands go. But my question is what happened the first night? Why didn't you let your hands go?
I did.
Why?
I did. That's my choice.
So you chose to lose.
I chose to lose.
Don't give it.
Failure is not an option until it's an option.
Failure is not an option. Well, you
And
failed already, didn't you? You failed already. So how can failure? Let's just be normal. Let's forget all the acting and all that. Calm yourself down, Charlie. Relax. You know, be yourself. Let's just talk man to man. What happened? Because I'm not slating you.
I want to see
because
White
I
versus
was
Price too.
moving around and being awkward. So obviously you couldn't land your punches. But don't try and make this something it's not.
Yes, it's official that Tyson Fury failed a drug test.
Boxing match, lad. You've had plenty of them before, and I've had a few myself. So it ain't something that don't try and make it to be something that it isn't. It's not rocket science. Obviously, you're coming to win. I'm coming to win. So whoever wins, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's taking part that counts. But yeah, what happened the first night then? What happened? Because I was expecting
to you at the press conference after our rematch. I will explain to you the difference, and you will feel the difference.
Can I ask a question? Did you?
I won't feel any different, no, will I? I don't feel any different. No, I don't feel like it doesn't really do anything to me. You know, win, lose, or draw, it doesn't matter.
Did you underestimate him first time round? Was he better than you thought?
Of course not.
I didn't feel honestly that he's better than me. I just didn't feel anything. There was not a boxing match. There was just walking around, look at each other, and making funny faces. That's it. I didn't see the actual fight. The fight was not there, to be honest.
So we're going to play these games, are we? The fight wasn't there. I lost on purpose. I didn't do anything apart from pull some faces.
No, it was not on purpose. No, I didn't
So
on purpose.
What you're saying is you didn't try to win. So you let all your family down, all your people, all the German fans, and you just conned them for money. Is that what you're saying? If you didn't try.
Listen.
No, I'm just curious because if you go in there, 50,000 people.
It's 12 rounds.
Yeah, what happened?
It was too late, though. It was too late.
So why didn't you do it from round one then?
What, you reckon you caught him in the 12th round and you saw something?
And not letting my hands go. That's it.
So which one is it?
Explain to you more.
I'd like you to because this is it. I'd like to explain. What happened in the 12th round? What happened? You walked onto a few more punches than you got in the first four. If you look, I landed more shots on you. Actually, the 12th round was the best round of the fight, if you look at it, because I landed more on him and he landed more on me than the whole fight put together. I think I watched it recently, a couple of days ago, and the 12th round was the most entertaining because I wanted it to be. Because Peter said to me, go out there and fight him in the 12th round and try and knock him out. If I had just boxed him, you wouldn't have landed any punches like you did all the way through the fight. So, only my choice. But listen, if you want to fight, it's Christmas come early for me. So, it's happy days. I'll have a Christmas in July.
Sweet.
But really, does it matter who wins or loses?
Well, I think it probably does, doesn't it?
Well, why does it matter?
Because you're the champion. You don't want to lose those belts.
But I'm still going to get paid, don't I?
You know, I met Vladimir Klitschko. I forgot about that. He gave me like this cold ass look because you know he got all them fucking muscles in his face and everything. Like I'm gonna upload the video. He scared the shit out of me. He scared the shit out of me, yo. He scared the shit because I had my camera like right there and he did like this cold ass like look where he was like, you know, I was like, oh shit. I felt like this chill, you know? I felt like this chill. But will Tyson Fury ever fight again? You know, well, the good thing is he's still young. You know, he's 27 years old. So we really don't know how he's going to deal with this because, see, this is a family issue. This is a family issue. And I want to believe that he can come back. But as I talked about, we don't know how deep his 12 minutes. We don't know how deep his How long have we been here? Have we been here for 2 hours? No, not 2 hours yet. Okay, cool. I'm trying to figure out when to stop. I gotta stop soon. Okay, so the issue I think is going to be the toughest part is if his wife is on the shit too. You feel me? So if she's on the shit, then that's going to, you know, like she's got to clean up her life too. You know, she's got to clean up her life too, because if they're going to be together, you know, they're pretty volatile. You know, that's a pretty volatile situation. So it's tough, man. It's a tough situation. She is not. How do you know though? How do we know? We never see her nowhere. We never see her nowhere. I know she got an Instagram page, you know, but how do we know? You know? And it's a damn good thing if she's not, because when he does get out of rehab, because he has no choice but to go to rehab, his wife is clean. Okay, that's what's up. I'll take your word for it. She is a mom. No, just because she's a mom, that don't mean shit. What kind of naive people are you? What kind of naive people are you? Well, she's a mom, so she has to be clean. She's in some IFL interviews somewhere. Yeah, I've seen his wife just gave birth. Did he have another baby? Which man does that shit with his wife? Yo, Marco, you must be living in a beautiful world, my friend. What kind of man does coke with his wife? You must live in a fairy tale, bro. You must live in a fucking fairy tale. She just had a kid recently. Okay, I can understand that. And I understand. See, now y'all talking like children. I understand not all partners do that shit. You don't have to explain. Y'all talking like children. I know all couples don't do this shit. You know, so come on. I'm gonna jump off that subject. Y'all like, you know, some of the shit y'all be posting. It's like, we grown. We can talk like we grown. I'm not stupid. I know all couples don't do the shit, you know. Now, you know, I'm going to answer that, War Ready. You know, did he take PEDs? That's going to be even worse. You know, the cocaine, people will sympathize with you. You know, they'll sympathize, right? They'll say, okay, you know, he has some issues in life. But if he took PEDs, then that means he tried to cheat against Klitschko. He tried to cheat. So, you know, you can go the route of saying, well, you know, I was on cocaine, you know, and I couldn't train. So, you know, you can blame it on the cocaine. But still, man. Still. I'm not going to blame his physique. Like put it this way. I've seen Tyson Fury in the past, like, drop weight. And also, he's not like some big dumb goof. He's a mobile big dumb goof. So basically, you know, he's about 6'8", 6'9". He can run. You know, like he can drop weight. He can drop weight. You know, his weight has always been like basically you can tell like I've been following him for years. You can tell what fights he'll be fat for and which ones he won't. He knew that he had to be in the best shape of his career, you know, to fight Klitschko. If I'm correct, when he fought Klitschko, he was only like maybe 5 pounds or less above the weight, the lowest weight he ever been, if I'm correct. But I know he was in excellent shape for that fight. Correct, Sufami Dan, whatever your name is, my bad, no disrespect. But yes, you know, depending on who he's fighting, he won't get in shape. He won't get in shape. Captain Rhodes, come on. Holyfield was on steroids. Briggs was on steroids. Steroids don't make you a good fighter. I don't know what you mean by that statement. I don't know if you're saying, well, you know, he should use steroids, shouldn't be a big deal or whatever. It is true that steroids just don't turn you into a great fighter. You know, you could be a bum on steroids with a record of 16 and 197, somebody like Kell Brook fought. But steroids or performance-enhancing drugs are what they are, performance-enhancing drugs. You know, whether they enhance your ability to train, whether they enhance your ability to recover from training, you know, whether they're able to enhance your stamina, endurance, punching power. If your opponent is not doing it, you know, then it's not an even playing field. Boxing is supposed to be all natural. You know, any sports, football players, LeBron James is supposed to be all natural. You know, so, and yes, I do believe that all these boxers are doing something. Not all, but there's some boxers, a good majority of them, that are doing shit they're not supposed to be doing. You know, I do believe that. I do believe that. Can he be hit with the full 4-year ban? See, he's already had issues with the British Board of Boxing Control. So they may say, you know what? Man, we got you, you motherfucker. You know, he's had issues with them for a good 3 years now. You know, he's had he tested positive for what? Are y'all fucking me? Listen, that's it. Lucas Brown underrated in the WBA tournament with Fury Ortiz out of it. Well, now Lucas Brown is in a very good situation. He's in a very good situation. Let me look this up real quick. Give me 1 minute. We only have 6 minutes left. 6 minutes exactly, and the stream is cutting off. Really quick. Really quick. Really quick. You son of a bitch. If you're lying, you're a son of a bitch. You're a lying son of a bitch. Isn't Haribo like a candy or some shit? You damn right I just Googled Haribo. That candy, I knew fucking sound familiar, you son of a bitch. Oh, they're waiting for those PD tests to come out. Oh, going back to will he be hit with that 4-year ban? The issue with that is he's had major issues with the British Boxing Board of Control. And you son of a bitch. Fucking terrible. And they may look at it like, look, now we finally got you. You know, Fury will be stripped. Yes, he will be stripped. Yes, he is. Yes, that is, he is going to be stripped. There is no reason not to strip him. And you on fucking drugs? And you on drugs? There's no reason not to strip you. So we have 4 minutes left. Any questions, guys? Make it just a 2-hour stream, but I don't want to do 2 hours for some reason. Actually, there's a very good card coming on the Ring TV website later on tonight. With Peter Petrov, remember him? And he's on his way to a title shot. He's on his way to a title shot. And it's a shame because when Tyson Fury comes back, easy for him. He's going to have to work his way back up the rankings. Ain't nobody going to say, oh, yeah, let's fight Tyson Fury. In this political landscape, champion again. He may never be world champion again, and that's a fucking shame. That's a fucking shame. That's a shame. That's a good question about Deontay Wilder and the metal rods in his hand. That's a good question. About Deontay Wilder now is within 1 year he had 2 different hand injuries. So for one, he's got those weird ass, fucked up ass punch mechanics. He's got those weird, fucked up ass punch mechanics. So he's prone to like hurting his hand. He won't get no respect for being the champ, so he quit due to all the racism. That's not a good excuse though, because he talks so much shit. You got to be, you know, for somebody to talk all the shit he does and the way he be fucking ethering people and slicing and dicing them up, talking all that shit, you got to have thick skin. There's a saying that goes, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. I want Nathan Cleverly to win, but Jürgen Brammer is pretty good. And I still don't know, wait, we're not talking about motherfucking, we're only talking about heavyweights, all right? So you got 2 minutes left. If you want to, like, I think we literally answered everything. We literally answered everything. So if you really want to know, you know, like the details of the heavyweight division, you got to go back down to the beginning of the video. You know, the video has pretty much been flowing through. We got all the information out there. And now I don't have to do, you know, I still got to do like an individual video because people are watching this, say, oh, you know, I'm not watching no 2-hour video, even though it was informative and I talked about all the issues that was going on. There's still going to be people that are not going to watch the shit. So I still got to, right after this, most likely, since I'm sitting here, do a fucking 20-minute video on the subject. And I got to condense all that information. But I am T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Website is launching this month. So basically, I'm going to do my best day to pump out 10 videos a week. Because before I was pumping out, you know, anywhere between, you know, 15 to 20. But since I'm working on this website, and November is going to be a big month of boxing, and December is looking really, really good too. You know, I'm going to use this time, you know, this month to pretty much prepare and get ready, website ready, and just work in social media in the background. So my Instagram is pretty lit. You know, my Twitter is growing. I'm not on Twitter enough. I'm on Twitter at the right moments, but not enough. Also, my Facebook page, my personal page is pretty close. Was closed. Might as well 5,000 people there because I always keep it at 4,999, and I just wait for people to leave to add somebody else. So you can go to my like page. We keep that shit updated. Also, if you're interested in helping out with boxing, please email me at editor@fightview360.com. I'll put it in the chat. Chat. If you're interested in helping out in any way, shape, or capacity, drop me an email, but just don't drop me no bullshit email. All right. Make sure you ask, you know, you tell me about yourself, like what you want to do and things like that. We got to keep shit professional. There's the email. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. I will be doing another stream tonight. I got to cover a fight, 2 fights. Tomorrow morning, I got to cover that Joseph Parker fight. And tomorrow night, what's tomorrow night? What fight is tomorrow night? Oh, the fight. So I may do a live stream sometime tomorrow evening-ish Eastern Standard Time in the United States. And I may do a stream after that. And then we got Tony Bellew fight on that next week. I'm definitely going to do a video on that. And pretty much it. So Please subscribe. I am getting out of here.